All right, if you are not down on by the fields for the drivers meeting, shame on you. Come down, please. Driver meeting in 1 minute, 1 minute at the fields. Driver meeting. Come down to the fields, please. Faster, faster. Not too fast, don't fall down the stairs. All right, hustle if you're not down here for driver meeting. All right. Driver meeting in 1 meeting. No, 1 minute, not 1 meeting. 1 minute. If you are late, John will give you a dirty look. Hurry, I see you walking down the stairs. You're already late. All right, we are going to start with the drawing. We're going to give away a free shirt. So if you're not down here, you don't get the shirt. How about that?
Must be present to win. We're going to do a t-shirt giveaway from the Utah Shirt Shop, who is providing our merchandise, the t-shirt merchandise. I'd like to introduce Brody. Brody will tell you a little bit about their company, and then we will do a drawing for 2 free t-shirts for some of our participants.
Hi guys, thanks for letting us come back again. We've been doing this for 3 years. We're right over there in that corner. My name's Brody, like you said. We're from the Utah Shirt Shop. We do all type of custom apparel. And today we're offering the Rumble in the Rocky hoodies and t-shirts, and they're fully customizable with a bunch of designs. So go definitely check that out. We really do appreciate coming here and being a part of this. These guys are awesome. The volunteers here are awesome, and your parents are so awesome and supportive. So we're going to draw 2 names for a free t-shirt with a front design and a team design. And then when you get over there, choose your size, color, and you guys can pick one other custom design that you guys want to add to it.
All right, here we go for our first, and you must be present to win. This is from the tickets that you guys filled out. So if you didn't turn this in, sorry. We will be doing giveaways throughout the next 2
How about Idaho? There we go. How about Colorado? Colorado made more noise than Washington. How about Nevada? How did I know? How about New York? I think our New York teams might not have made it. Oh, we got a few. Fantastic. Tennessee? Make some noise. All right. Florida? We tried to have snow for you, sorry. Arizona? What? I don't understand. Texas? Sad. Nebraska? There we go. How about Virginia? I know there's a team here from Virginia. Ooh, how about our friends from the north, Ontario? Where's our Canadian friends? I know they're here, they checked in. How about California? How is Colorado noisier than California? There are a lot of teams here from California, that's sad. All right, how about the local teams from Utah? That's better. That's better. All right, again, as I said, my name's Jeff Jensen. I'm the event partner here for Rumble in the Rockies. We are excited to have you here. Even though my name's listed as the event partner, it is a team that makes this happen. Introduce a few of those behind me. Mr. Preston Ritchie, he's my partner at Bear River Robotics. He's the brains behind this organization. Don't let him tell you otherwise. The old guy trying to run out the door to get donuts is Dane. Dane Leifson coaches the Davis High School teams. He's part of the team. And then our fourth team member, Jeff Siraki, is hiding somewhere. There he is. Over in the corner, Jeff comes to us from Montana. If you remember the Bridgerbot teams, that is Jeff. On top of this team, there's a whole bunch of people that make this happen. Is Travis, where you at, Travis? Oh, there's Travis's hand. If you see Travis, you'll have to look like this because Travis is about 8 feet tall. He is in charge of all of our tech. He keeps all the live streams going so your parents can watch at home. He makes sure all the tech is running. He does an amazing job and he has a great team. With us from RECF, we have Heather Harris. There's Heather over here. Some of you probably know her. She covers about half the country, it seems like. And then I meant to have our judge advisor come out, and I forgot to do it. Let's see if I see him. I don't see him. Our judge advisors for high school, you interacted with a gentleman named Joe First online when you did your interviews. And then here in person, Jeff Tibbetts is our judge advisor. They're doing an excellent job for us, and you will see the judges around in gray polo shirts. We have an excellent team of judges today and couldn't do this without them. The other thing we couldn't do without is our sponsors. It takes a lot to put these events on, so we appreciate our sponsors. Want to call out a couple of them. Hughes Construction is a big one for us. ASI is sponsoring our skills fields this year. When you're waiting in line, check out their video. They do some really cool stuff with autonomous construction vehicles and agricultural vehicles. And then another big sponsor is JR Automation. They are the folks responsible for a lot of things, including they built our trophies for us this year. And then last but not least, volunteers. If you see people in green shirts, pink shirts, blue shirts, red shirts, I feel like Dr. Seuss. These are our volunteers. These are people giving up their time to be here and help out, and we could not do without them. Hey, yeah, let's do a round of applause for them. 100%. And then while we're at it, we probably ought to recognize some parents and coaches and mentors that have put a lot of effort to get you here. How about a round of applause for them? Oh, I missed something. All right. Just a couple of things before I turn it over to our head refs. Speaking of parents, coaches, mentors, if you did not get the word, across the parking lot, just a short walk, is the Bonneville building. It's quiet. There's coffee, there's restrooms, there's live stream in there. You know what there isn't in there? Competitors. If you are competing, you don't get to go over there. Stay here. Parents, if you need a place to work, need a place for quiet, whatever, that's the place to go. Please don't spend your time up in the pits. All right, who can tell me what rule G1 is? Okay, treat everybody with respect. Any questions on that? We have a zero tolerance policy. We do not tolerate disrespect. That includes here amongst competitors. It includes any of the event staff. It includes any of the facility staff. It includes at your hotel with other guests, with the hotel staff. We expect you to treat others with respect. Who can tell me what G2 is? Tommy. Absolutely. This is a student-centered program. Students, I know you know what that means. Parents, adults, mentors. Let's let the kids do their thing this week. There is no reason we should see an adult sitting at a pit table working on a laptop. If you need a place to work, we've provided that. Please make sure this is student-centered. What do I do? Okay, I am going to introduce our two head refs. They're over here to my left. If you've been to Worlds, you've probably seen one or both of these in the last year or two. Dylan is our local ref here, but he has been he's been in VEX for like 75 years. Something like that. So Dylan is our first head ref, and our second head ref, Sophia, comes to us from Colorado, also has refed multiple signature events, Worlds, all that good stuff. I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Cool. Do you want to share your mic with Sophia? So we both have one.
Thank you.
All right. I think we are still quiet, Jeff, because you didn't start off with a proper welcome. So we gotta do it. Who's ready to rumble? There we go. All right, a couple things before we get started, just a little bit more about me. This is gonna date me a little bit, don't do the math. I started competing in VEX in 2010. So I competed for 5 years. This is my 9th year as a head referee. So I've been around for a while, been to Worlds twice as a ref. The rest of our ref team over here, before I let Sophia introduce herself, we've got our field refs, Joe, Michael, John, Errol's down on the end. Who am I missing? This way. Trent and Preston. And then our other head ref, Sophia. Go ahead.
I'm Sophia. Excuse me. I did middle school division. Apparently yelled at them a lot. Just kidding. Maybe just a little bit. I'm from Colorado. I have been involved with VEX since about 2015. I've been a head ref for 3 or 4 years. I've lost count, which is not even that big of a number, so that's fun. But I'm really excited to be here. And I'm over in the Wasatch Division.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I will be over here in Ochre. Before we get into rules, another thing that Jeff missed is the flow that we're going to go through today. So if you are in the Wasatch Division, that means all your competing and your pits and everything are over here. For the Wasatch Division, you're going to come down these stairs, go behind the stairs to the queuing tables, and after your matches, exit that direction and go up those stairs. For the Ochre Division, opposite thing. Fields are over here, pits are up there. Come down these stairs, go back behind the stairs to the queuing tables, exit back out that direction and up the other stairs. That way we can keep flow going in one direction and avoid congested stairways as much as we can. All right, getting into some rules. Let's start off with, I'm going to skip a few of the basics. We're at a signature event. Y'all should know how this goes. First thing, though, that always seems to get forgotten is keep your hands out of the field. So I know things get exciting. You like to point stuff out, communicate to your driver, things like that. While you're doing that, keep your hands out of the field. If you need to, take a step back from the field, whatever you need to keep your hands out of the field. Sure. The only time your hands should be in the field is for match loading. when you are match loading. If there is a match load already above the bottom of the orange cap, you should not be adding another match load to the loader. That includes if there's fewer blocks in there, a robot comes in from the bottoms trying to remove from the loader, still cannot put any blocks in the loader until they are below that orange cap. Each illegal match load will count as 3 points against you if we need to determine match affecting violations. So keep that in mind. The other way to illegally match load is if you try to put a load in the match loader and you miss. Don't pick it back up. Leave it in the field, but it does count against you. If you miss the loader and it goes outside of the field, you can pick that one up and reuse it. Moving on. Make sure your robots are starting the match in size. Come to the field ready to play. All of the blowing up your air tanks and everything like that should happen at the queuing tables, not on the field. If we are behind schedule and you show up late to your match and we see you running or whatever, we might wait a couple seconds for you to get here. We are not going to wait for you to pump up your robot. That does not get to happen at the field. It should happen at the queuing table. So if you're late and don't get a chance to fill up your pneumatic tanks, you just got to set your robot on the field, get it into position. We're starting the match. We don't have time to wait for people to fill up their robots on the field. Your robot should stay together. Shouldn't be pieces falling off your robot. Let's go over autonomous a little bit. So the autonomous mode means no humans. During autonomous, robots that start on the red side of the field should not cross the double white line to the blue side of the field. What that means is a red robot should not contact the gray field tile on the far side of the double white line. Your robot can hover over those gray tiles. You cannot contact the ground. All rules still apply in autonomous. So the biggest one is going to be blocks leaving the field. If you knock blocks out of the field during autonomous, you do lose autonomous. Blocks that start on your side of the field should stay there. With the exception of these 8 blocks that start along the autonomous line, blocks that start on this side of the field should stay on this side of the field, and blocks on that side of the field should stay on that side of the field. How that works as far as violations go. If your robot that starts on this side of the field, the red robot, makes it so a block that started on this side of the field goes to the other side of the field, and while that block is still rolling, contacts a robot that is also rolling, then you lose autonomous. If the block stops moving and then a robot drives into it, that's not a violation. If a robot is sitting there and not driving around and the block rolls into it, it's not a violation. Those kinds of things. Anything else with autonomous that I missed that you can think of before I move on? Okay, perfect. Please don't destroy other robots. There's obviously going to be both defense and offense in this game. Lots of contact between robots, but don't be overly aggressive, ramming other robots with the purpose of breaking them. Holding has changed this year from previous years, as you're probably aware, to be a 3 count. Holding includes all things such as trapping, lifting, pinning, all of those words. For example, if there is a red robot in this corner, a blue robot drives up and makes it so the red robot cannot leave this corner. That is holding. However, the red robot has to be trying to leave the corner. If the red robot is just sitting here and not trying to do anything, and blue robot drives up, the red robot is not being pinned until the red robot wants to try to leave that corner. As soon as we see a hold count that is a valid hold, we will start counting. So again, in this situation, red robot being held by a blue robot, we will start counting for the blue robot blue 1, blue 2, blue 3, both out loud and on our fingers. That blue robot has until we say 3 to be 2 field tiles away from the red robot. That doesn't mean you start backing away at 3, it means you are backed away when we say 3 or before. You then have to stay away for an additional 5 count. So if the red robot still is staying over in this area, blue robot cannot come and pin them back in for another 5 seconds. Should have been taken care of with inspections, but vertical horizontal expansions limited 22 inches. Please make sure your robots are still conforming to that. We will be re-inspecting robots before the bracket tomorrow, so make sure that everybody is still conforming to all of those inspection rules. Going back to match loads for a second, one thing I forgot, do not match load during autonomous. It is not legal. You will lose autonomous, and those match loads will count against you, so don't match load until driver mode has begun. And that doesn't mean in between autonomous and driver you can start match loading. You have to wait until driver mode has started. One last thing before we get into the last bigger rule. End game. The end game is the last 20 seconds in the match. During that time, the park zones are protected. So that means a red robot should not come in contact with the blue park zone or a blue robot who is breaking the plane of the blue park zone. In order to be parked, your robot cannot be touching any of the gray field tiles outside of the park zone or the top or outside of the field wall. You can touch the inside of the field wall, you can touch the blue or red bump, you can touch the field tiles inside the park zone, you can be touching blocks, you can be touching another robot, but you cannot be touching those field tiles outside the zone or the top of the wall. Final thing, unless I forgot something, is goalkeeping and robots inside the goals. So robots are not allowed to enter the closed portion of the long goals. So that's from the outside of the tape line to outside of the tape line. If the blocks are all the way over here and part of your robot accidentally goes past and does not contact a block, that's just going to be a minor violation, not a big deal. But if there's blocks like this, part of your robot enters that closed zone, bumps a block, it's going to be a violation that will have to determine based on a 10-point swing from the control zone. So be aware of that. The open portion of the goal zone includes anything that is in between the plane of the Lexan goal. So anything inside here is inside the open portion of the goal. If your robot is over here, the easiest way to determine if you're inside the goal is if we took your robot and moved it side to side, and part of your robot contacts the goal, you are inside the plane of the goal. So part of your robot being down here, inside the goal, up here, not inside the goal. For guarding, you are only allowed to be inside the open portion of the goal if you are moving blocks. As soon as blocks stop moving, you are no longer allowed to be inside the open portion of the goal. That includes if there are 2 robots, one on either side of the goal, having a shoving match and blocks are not moving, both robots are goalkeeping and need to exit the open part of the goal. If there is a robot sitting on the edge of the goal outside over here, not inside the goal, but just sitting over here, that is fine. Where guarding gets a little bit complicated, if there is a red robot that is inside the open portion of the goal, blue robot comes and pins the red robot against the goal so that the red robot cannot leave. The first thing we will do is start a holding count against the blue robot. If the blue robot leaves before that 3-second holding count ends, and then the red robot is able to immediately leave the goal as quickly as possible, no violations, we're all good. If, for some reason, the blue robot pinning the red robot causes the red robot to be entangled with the goal so that the red robot can no longer leave, that is going to be a goal-keeping violation against the red robot. This is the only situation where the blue robot cannot force the red robot into a penalty. By being inside the open portion of the goal, you leave yourself open to getting entangled with the goal. If you get entangled, it is on your robot, not the opposing robot that shoved you into the goal. Anything you think I missed that you want to go over? Blocks leaving the field. I don't think I talked about that. Blocks need to stay inside the field. If your robot knocks 3 or more blocks outside of the field in a match, it is a disqualification. Minors on that do stack. So if you have a match where you knock 2 blocks out of the field, you'll get a minor violation. You will get 3 minor violations before that becomes a DQ. So if you have 3 matches in a row that you knock a block out of the field, that 4th match, even if you only knock 1 block out of the field, it is a disqualification. Those blocks that leave the field between the head referees and our scorekeeping referees, we will do our best to return those blocks to you, to the robot that matches the color of the block. So blue block goes out, gets returned to the blue team to use as a match load. Those violations will carry into elims. So if you have 2 minors before elims on knocking blocks out of the field, those do go with you. One more thing with knocking blocks out of the field. If a block is knocked out of the field via shooting out the top of the loader, and it did that because your robot came over to match load and you hit this really hard and the block bumped out, that does count against your robot as a block leaving the field. If you're standing here and block jumps out of the field, hits you in the chest, and falls back into the field, that still counts as a violation against you knocking a block out of the field. Your body is part of outside of the field. It left the field, you caused it to return, still a violation of knocking a block out of the field. So try to, again, just take a step back. Don't use your body as a backboard for the match loaders. Final thing before we close, we will open this up for questions. Please keep questions specific to rules. There's only so much we can do of what if this happens, what if that happens. We can do what ifs all day. They're very situational, may or may not come up. We can deal with those as they happen because, again, it's situational, depends on the exact match. But any rules questions we can answer, yes. Oh, that's a good point. We are aware that a new game manual has come out. That game manual is not in effect for a week, at least not enforced. We are using the previous game manual rules for this tournament. So currently, if you open up the app with the game manual in it, it will automatically update you to the new version. If you go scroll down to the bottom of all the rules, hit next section, and scroll down a little bit more, the first table that you come to has a table of all of the release dates for game manual updates. Couple paragraphs underneath that table, there is a link that only works for a week after a game manual update that will take you to the previous game manual. So for arguing any rule violations and things like that, we will be using the old version of the game manual, not the brand new update. Okay. How we're going to do questions, we're going to start on this side and work our way down and try to hit as many questions as we can. So, starting over here, any questions?
Okay, so the question is, if they are trying to defend a park zone and they push so their blue robot, they're in the red area and they push a red robot into the red zone and they get stuck. Is that a parking SG-11?
So blue robot pushes a red robot into the red park zone and red robot gets stuck.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying if they push them into the zone to the point where they're a valid parking position, then it would just be Is this at any time in the match or just last 20 seconds? Anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah. That's situational. So it really just depends. If it is in the last 20 seconds, that's an SG11 violation. If it's before that last 20 seconds, it depends. So we're going to have to look at match affecting and things like that and make a determination based on the match. Okay, moving on. Working our way this direction. If you have a question, raise your hand as Arrow walks past you, and he will give you the mic. Questions?
I don't know if you guys already touched on this, but how does goaltending work on the context of the autonomous period? Like, is it just the exact same where you can't be blocking it, or is it ruled slightly differently?
So remaining in the goal during autonomous does not count against you. You can do it only during the autonomous period.
Adding on, adding on to that question, if you remain in the goal after the autonomous period, you have to get out immediately, right? And then a question about flow. Which side of the field do you want us to head out from when we're done with our match? Do you want us to go behind by the queue tables?
Yeah, head out backwards and go back behind the queue, or in front of the queuing tables actually, because when you come to queuing, we're going to have all of you stand behind the queuing tables, so then as people are exiting, they can leave in front of the queuing tables.
And will we be able to use the match fields during lunch, or will that be restricted?
You can use the match fields until the match fields until noon. After noon, we need all of these fields reset and cleared off.
Thank you.
Let's say you already got disqualified for like getting blocks out. Does it reset after? Okay.
No, it does not. So if you have 3 minor violations for knocking blocks out of the field, and then your 4th one ends up being a DQ, everyone after that is also a DQ. Yeah.
If you get the minor violation for hitting a block out during the autonomous period, does that also transfer over to another match?
So, knocking blocks out during autonomous does not count against you during the match, other than you lose autonomous. So if you knock a block out during autonomous and 2 more during driver period, you're okay, you haven't hit your 3. Unless you knock 3 blocks out of the field during autonomous, and then it's a DQ.
Okay. And then one more question. If both alliances get a SG10 violation, do you consider both of them in the context of each other, or do you only consider the winning alliances?
Only consider the winning alliance. Yeah.
Can balls go through the goal and interfere with Auton?
Yes, blocks that are, if red during Auton puts blocks in this side of the goal, and through the course of Auton they end up going out the other side of the goal, that is legal, that's fine.
So if your opponent pushed you in a way where you block falls out, does that count towards you or your opponent?
In the context of the goal, like if you're on like the end of a goal and your opponent pushes you so that you get stuck in the goal.
No. I meant like, for example, if you're match loading and then someone pushes you really hard and then a block falls out because of that.
Oh. That I would say that's forcing an opponent into a penalty. Yeah. So if a red robot is trying to match load, blue robot pushes into them, and when the blue robot pushes into them and knocks a block out, that would be a violation against the blue robot.
If you're in like a wing shoving match, and you call goalkeeping, and one robot takes their wing out faster than the other one, and then the other one just de-scores the long goal, would that be counted as like match affecting? Because
that would be a violation against the robot. If you're in a shoving match and we say that both of you are goalkeeping, you both need to leave the goal before you change the position of any blocks, or it's a violation.
Okay, we have one more question down here. Are you done down there?
Where? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
On the goaltending rule, if two bots are to be on either side of the goal and one backs off, causing the balls to move forward, would the 3 count for goaltending be reset since the ball moved? If you were to back up like a little bit so the balls move forward your way.
I hit like a dead spot in the speakers walking over here and missed part of that. Sorry.
You're good, man. If you are, do you want to still do it on the mic?
Yeah, use the mic.
If you are to be in a standoff, so both bots have a little arm in the open area, and the balls move because a bot scooch. If a bot is to move back, the other one moves forward, the balls move, would the count reset for goaltending?
Right. There's no count for goaltending. So if both robots are actively goaltending and we have said, hey, you're goaltending, you both need to leave, you both need to leave the goal before you go back. Yeah. Similar to the question we had over on the other end.
So think of when we say get out of the goal, that's your warning to avoid an SG10.
Yeah.
We got another down
wait, one
here.
more right here.
When goalkeeping occurs and both robots need to back out of the goal, when there are blocks in the way of backing out, is it okay if those blocks do get moved when backing out?
Like if you're at a stalemate.
If you're together and you back out.
If it's full and they've got wings in here, so there's blocks on either side.
I think that's moving blocks.
Also a good question.
Like you're in here.
But they're pushing against each other, so blocks aren't moving. It's supposed to be to where they will push these blocks.
I would consider that moving blocks because they didn't affect the ones that were stalemated on.
Okay. Yeah. So if the goal is full of blocks and your wing is in here, so there's blocks on both sides of the wing, and you're pushing into the goal against another robot, the blocks that are between the two opposing robots are the blocks being goal kept, and the blocks on the outside are not. So then if you back out of the goal, pushing the blocks on the end out, you're moving those blocks, and that's okay. They weren't part of the goalkeeping. Yeah.
We got another down here.
Where?
So let's say that both alliances are goal setting. What are the specific instructions for leaving the goal? Like, if you raise your wing, for example, can you put it back down immediately?
If you put your wing back immediately, then you need to then be moving blocks. So you can't just like play a game of, I'm not moving any blocks because but my wing is in the goal and I'm not moving blocks, so I'm going to move the wing out and then put it back in and do this thing. You can't do that.
right, so think of it this way. You cannot enter the open part of the goal and stay there unless you're moving blocks. So if you want to play this game, you might get away with it, but you are running the risk of somebody trying to load up that goal and then you stop those blocks from moving, which is goalkeeping, and that's going to be a violation. Does that make sense?
All
So
right.
you-
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize we had another question.
So you provide a warning for goalkeeping, but will you also provide like a verbal thing that you got an SG10 violation during the match, or is that only after the match? Just wondering.
Yeah, that's going to be at the end of the match. If we say, hey, you're goalkeeping, you just got to leave, you know, and then we'll determine if it's a major match affecting at the end of the match. Yeah. We have one more question right here. And then I'm gonna cut it off after that.
So if two robots are in a standoff, both goalkeeping, and you tell both of us to get out, and say my robot, we leave, and the other team doesn't, and they end up getting control, how would you score that?
Yeah, that's similar to the questions we were talking about earlier. Once both robots are goalkeeping, they both need to leave the goal without moving blocks. So if one of you ends up moving blocks and changes the control bonus, then that would be a goalkeeping violation. We'd have to determine whether it's match affecting or not. Yeah. Okay, before I let you go, we need to do another cheer for the video that we're trying to make. So I need you to one more time, everybody, are you ready to rumble?
All right. Thank you, everyone. It is now lunch break. If you are in the first three matches, please be back on the fields at 12:30 promptly. Skills will also reopen at 12:30. There's food trucks outside. Thank you.